Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome. It is
Monday,
February
26th.
2018. This is myOrganized.life live. I'm John Hunt.
I'm Leanne Thompson.
And, this is the show we're going to give you organizing tips, advice, kind of
Take
feedback,
their questions. Take questions.
comments.
Yep.
In fact, we want to hear from you right now in the comments section. Tell us where you're watching from. Also, this is filing week this week.
Exciting.
It is exciting.
Very
Last
exciting.
week on Friday, we started talking about desktop organization. Had a few comments, people saying, I just need to get a basic filing system set up.
A lot of people just don't know where to start.
Yeah, they don't know where to start.
Right.
So we got a bunch of things this week which are going to be kind of fun. Today we'll talk a little bit about kind of the basic tools, at least refer back to one of our previous podcasts.
Right. We're going to go talk to Tammy Schatzko. Well, we're not going to talk to her now.
Yeah. I will actually
You
talk
talked
to her a few years ago.
on
a podcast. So
she's from welovemesses.com, Tammy Schatzko.
Yeah. And so we also have some other things. Our podcast this week, we'll tell you a little bit more about it later, released live right on this show, 2 p.m. on Wednesday, is with Julie Omer from Minding Your Manor, and we're going to be talking about that anxiety we get before we start organizing products.
I think that's a lot of people's
projects.
I think that's a lot of people's issues too. They don't know where to start. And we also talked about that last week, but
Yeah.
that kind of builds stress and gets people just so worked up. So Julie kind of does a nice job of telling us how to get over that fear.
And do you know how many different kinds of file folders there are?
Well, let's see. We have over 1,000.
Yeah.
So there's got to be over 1,000.
Yes, but there's various categories.
Yes.
You have, it's not just all a manila file folder.
Nope.
And it's not just manila and color. You have, what are some of the other types?
Well, there's expanding files, there's hanging files, there's end tab files, top tab files. The list goes on.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about that on Thursday. We're going to give you a little filing education where we talk about the different kinds of files, and they have different purposes and uses. Some work better in certain situations than others. So it's good when you're going to be setting up a filing system to make sure you get the right kinds of files.
Yep. And you kind of have to know, like you said, what you're going to be using it for, if you're going to need to archive or not archive. Lots of different
Let's go
ways.
down. I'm going to take a quick look. You can talk for another second or two. I'm going to look at see if we have any people that we can shout out to here in the videos who are maybe watching right now.
Anyone?
This is your turn
Okay,
to
I'm sorry.
talk.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, we're
come
going
on.
to still talk about filing.
This is your
Okay.
big opportunity.
My big solo.
This is your solo. Okay. Hi, Kimberly. How you doing?
Hello.
We've got Kim watching from the passenger side of the car.
That's
You can watch the show on your phone. Man, technology.
That's great, yeah.
Now, the tech of this show is not quite like the tech of the Olympics. Could you believe those closing ceremonies? Or did you watch them?
I didn't watch them.
Oh,
no.
you didn't watch
No.
them? Oh my gosh, there's so many things. So anyway, we'll say hi to you guys. If you have any questions, even if you're watching this on the replay, because we post this on Facebook, of course, and also over on our YouTube channel, myOrganized.life.
Yep.
And you can see it there and put in the comments anything you want about filing, maybe questions you have, and we check those on a daily basis and we'll get back to you on that. But I think we should talk to Tammy now.
Okay. You'll talk to her in the past.
I will talk to her. We'll rewind. It's podcast 96, which you can find at smead.com/podcast, and then scroll down to number 96. It was from a couple years ago,
I think
right?
2013 or 14.
2014, yeah. And she talks about some rules of thumb that we need to consider when we're setting up a filing system. Let's say we get some files and stuff together. Are there any rules of thumb as far as what we should save when we set up a filing system versus what we shouldn't, or maybe short-term and long-term?
I usually tell my clients, and I will tell them that I tend to err on the side of letting things go, but I'm comfortable with that. So when we're setting up a system for someone, I say, if you would not feel comfortable letting this go, then don't. Let's save it, because I would never want someone to get rid of something and then feel like they had to have it. However, that being said, in the age of electronics, we really don't need to keep bank statements, things like that. So if people are comfortable letting them go, that's great.
Right.
I try to do a one in, one out for things like insurance policies, where you get the new one every so often. You can let the old one go, kind of like a self-purging system. We talk a lot about that. Because then at the end of the year or every 6 months, you don't have to go through and try to purge out some of the paperwork.
Now, how about, there's different types of filing. You've got your drawer filing, you've got your desktop filing. Do you have any kind of criteria on what should be, within hand's reach?
Yep. Anything within hand's reach, we consider that valuable real estate because really, if you're sitting at your desk, there's not a lot of room there, and most of us have kitchen nooks or things like that, very small spaces. So those are things that you should be accessing at least daily, if not weekly, monthly. Those three criteria. If it's anything that you do every 6 months or, once in a blue moon, you don't need to have it right at your fingertips. It can be somewhere else if you don't have the room right there. If you have the room for all of it, great. It can live right there.
All right. So for longer term storage, do you think people should have just like you put things in a box and then label the box number and try to come up with an index? Do you have a system for doing that, or what's?
Personally, I have a rolling 2-drawer file cart in another room that we don't access very often, and in that I have manuals. I don't need a manual very often. Our tax information is in there by year for 10 years. Things like that I'm not going to go look at every day, probably not even every year. Okay.
Do you have a system for cleaning that out where eventually you say, you know what, that's got to go?
My tax files are numbered 0 through 9.
Okay.
So when I file the year 2000 in the 0, it sits there, and then when 2010 rolled around, I let 2000 go and put 2010 in there.
Okay.
I'm comfortable doing that. Not everybody else is.
Right.
And you can't do a 7. They say keep it back 7 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't work to purge itself. Then you have to go back. You have to do 10 years.
Yeah, 10 is a nice,
it is a nice number.
Even number. Okay.
So now when I file 2014, 2004 will go.
Okay.
And again, I'm comfortable with that. If you weren't comfortable, you could move it to a third location if you want to keep it long term.
Well, coming up this Wednesday, we are going to be releasing our next podcast with Julie Omer from Minding Your Manor, and we're going to be talking about how to overcome anxiety when you're getting ready to organize. And we're talking about filing all week this week, so it's one of those things where people do get anxious about that. We've got Julie on the line right now. Julie, tell us a little bit about what we're going to talk about in this episode.
Hi, John. We're going to talk about the anxious feelings and anxiety that a lot of people have when they're faced with an organizing project or getting all their paperwork together. So we're going to look at what are some of the physical manifestations of anxiety, what are some of the whys behind people feeling anxious about dealing with their papers, filing, or getting organized, and then some of the tips and tricks that people can use to keep themselves in a calmer frame of mind when they're going through their project, and keep them focused and to help them get beyond their fears, basically.
All right, great. Well, that's coming up. We release our podcast live Wednesday, 2 o'clock p.m. on Facebook. But then, of course, after that, you can get them through iTunes or any of your regular ways on Smead.com. So join us for how to overcome anxiety when you're ready to get organized with Julie Omer this week on our Keeping You Organized podcast. Those are some good tips.
Right. Yes. I like her tax filing tip with the 1 through 10 or 0 through 10.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people say the rules are you got to keep 7 years.
Right.
But 7 is not. It's a nice number, but it's not like the digit. The ending digit. So her 10-year system, I think, works really nice for that. And
we also talked on Thursday too about her valuable real estate on your desk.
Right. Yeah.
That you need to have things right there when you're going to access them, daily or weekly.
Yeah. And we'll get more into different types of, because you have desktop organizing, you have your filing and your archive. We'll get more into that as we get more and more into filing week here. Tomorrow, I think we'll talk a little bit more about one of the most popular articles on our Smead.com site is called How to Set Up an Effective Filing System. Like, how do you label and how do you go about putting the folders in the right categories and things like that. And a lot of people don't even know how to start with that.
No, and that article is full of information. It's a really good article, so we'll be talking about that.
And remember, Leanne's going to be back here on Thursday with the types of file folders, and there's plenty, but
Me, myself?
well, you're going to be the resident
I'm in
expert.
charge.
Yes, you're in charge of that segment. Friday, we'll be doing our blogger roundup. So if you have any great organizing blogs you'd like to follow, make sure you put those in the comments as well so we can check those out. We go out and curate the best of the best out there, some of our favorite articles. Maybe you can find one on, we can find some that are on specifically on filing this week.
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah,
good
we
since
should look
have
for those.
the team
Definitely.
going. So if you have questions or maybe show topic ideas you want covered here, make sure you put those in the comments. And we'll be back here tomorrow, 2 p.m., right?
2 p.m. Central.
All right,
Yes.
right here on myOrganized.life live.